Welcome back to Collecting Issues, where this week we'll be reading The Beauty, Volume 1, collecting issues 1 to 6 of the 2015 comic by Jeremy Haun and Jason A. Hurley, originally published by Image Comics and now distributed by Ignition Press.
So the comic book education continues?
We're talking inappropriate comic books.
You're into comic books, aren't you?
That's comic book shit.
Like in the comic books.
Ooh, very exciting, Benjamin. You've got mixed up, though, because this is Collecting Issues, the sometimes monthly comic book club, but you're talking about a television program.
I know, Michael. This is The Beauty that we see on FX currently, adapted by none other than horror maestro, sometimes beloved, sometimes bemoaned, man, Ryan
Very
Murphy.
good.
He's everywhere, Michael. He's
Everywhere.
everywhere on television.
Can't keep him out of places. You need the door seals, Ben. You know the door seals, the rubber door seals? You need them. He'll still get in, though.
Yeah.
But anyway, look,
I
that's
know.
neither here nor there.
I know.
Because, Benjamin, is this the monthly comic book club, or is this out of sequence? Are we just so excited? What's going on?
I think you and I have been watching The Beauty on FX, Michael.
Yes.
And despite the marketing around this, which would have you, I suppose, never guessing that it was based on a comic, it is in fact based on a comic.
Not all comics are superheroes, Benjamin. Benjamin, I
Yes.
feel we can offer a hot take on this, seeing as we are so obviously on either side of the spectrum of what happens in the comic.
Yes, with me being the beast, I assume, to your beauty.
Anyway, Benjamin, this is Collecting Issues. That only works for the people watching. This is Collecting Issues, the monthly comic book club. We're going to be doing big spoilers.
Big spoilers, folks. This
spoilers.
one has some hefty, swinging spoilers.
Yes,
Right.
and cocks actually as well. But look, listen, before we do anything, this is a monthly comic book club. So what you, the listener, are going to do, you're going to pop off, you're going to read volume 1 of The Beauty, issues 1 to 6. And you know what? It's probably worth having a look at episode 1 and 2 of the show as well, because we're going to spoil those too.
Yeah.
Because Benjamin, look, the whole point of this is we read the comic, the whole gang of us, we read the comic,
The lot
and
of
then
us.
we come and talk about it.
Yeah, that's the premise. It's a book club.
It's a book club, a comic book club, if you would.
It's a book club. But
A
Michael,
comic book
let's jump on in here.
All right.
Let's jump
All right,
on
let's-
in here.
You stop me spinning my wheels.
The first premise that
Mm-hmm.
we're going to deal with is the elevator pitch, but also it should be noted that we are a comic book club, and the majority of our analysis will be on the comic with a
Oh,
little
the
bit of a
vast.
nod.
The vast
adaptation.
majority. We're not talking about the show. We'll mention it, but that's not what we're here for.
That's not what we're here for.
It's not what we're here.
The elevator pitch is pretty much this, Michael.
Yes.
Sex is great, apart from all those pesky STDs
Oh, yes.
ruining your good time. Oh,
What is
wait.
What is it?
What if one STD wasn't that bad?
AIDS.
Eh, oh, oh.
Is that not what it is? Sorry. I thought it was an AIDS
It's
parable.
not. No,
Okay.
it's not an AIDS parable.
I thought it was. I misinterpreted it. Ben, I grew up in the 80s. I see everything as an AIDS parable.
Well, I mean, I guess, I to my knowledge, Jeremy Haun did as well. So I'd imagine there's probably a subconscious AIDS crisis PTSD element to this in
Yeah,
some
probably.
form. So coming back to my elevator pitch, Michael,
Oh, yes.
imagine if there was an STD that, in fact, wasn't all that dreadful, a mild fever at best, continuously.
A night
Which
fever.
sounds very unpleasant to me, but anyway, that's just me. But, Michael, what if it transformed you? What if it stripped back the crusty, overweight excess of your physical form
Oh.
and turned you into something new and shiny and perfected, Michael? What if you
Delicious.
could
Yes.
simply contract this STD and become the most beautiful version of yourself?
Fucking get it in me,
Would
Ben.
you get it in me? Get it in me. Exactly, Michael. And that's the premise here. So this is a comic set in a world where for a number of years, and this is an important distinction.
Yes, it
For
is.
a number of years.
The
yes,
most important distinction.
the most important distinction, Michael, is that the Beauty comic,
Yes.
the STD has been around for years. It has developed over a course of, I would say 5 or 6 years.
No,
and
I don't
humanity
think
has
it's
had
quite that, Ben, because there's the 800
Okay.
days thing, which is only 2 and a bit
Yes,
years.
sorry. So it's been around for Michael. Sometimes you pay for yourself.
Sometimes, Benjamin, I read the fucker. I'll pop it open and I'll give it a read. I won't just go over it and I'm going to flick through. I'll actually give the fucker
Michael,
a read.
Nobody actually reads. Get out of here.
Nobody
Mr.
reads.
Owen. I actually read. I actually read.
Actually,
Get out of here.
Benjamin, on my tip it says hobbies reading. Actually, since we're in that world today.
Then you have Atomic Habits, The Rules
Yeah.
of Power, and I can't remember.
Diary of a
what's the other
CEO
fucking-
by Stephen
Yeah,
What's his
Diary
name?
of a CEO. Exactly, transcripts. You just
Yeah.
read those.
I just read the transcripts.
Anyway.
I have no time for podcasts, which is ironic. Anyway, what are we talking about? 800 days.
800
world.
days, which is give or take, Michael, 2.5 years, as you
Roughly,
said.
yeah.
Very accurately, 2.5 years.
No,
But the world has adjusted to this, and
Yeah.
the beauty runs rampant. It is a sexually contracted disease that will turn you into the most beautiful version of yourself. And it has split humanity down the middle, Michael,
yes.
in that it is... Some people are all for it. They think, oh, fabulous. So finally, the cheat code I've been looking for physical perfection. And other people, naturally, Michael, have turned against it and said, oh, down with that sort of thing. Careful now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the elevator pitch. That's what's happening. And then we zone in on, I suppose, a crucial point in the beauty's existence on Earth, in that all of a sudden, Michael, all of the upsides of extreme physical beauty and near divine attractiveness suddenly has a quite a dangerous hook to it, Michael, which is that
You catch
you'll
fire.
explode.
You catch fire, yeah.
you'll
You burn from the inside
you'll
out.
explode.
And again, very differently from the show, not in a spectacular blowout for TV.
Yeah.
Fairly quiet. Like again, Benjamin, to go back to my growing up in the 80s, and obviously, who wrote this? What's his name again?
Jeremy Haun.
Jeremy Haun grew up at the same time as me, I'm sure, and had the same fears. Because my biggest fear as a child growing up was AIDS and spontaneous human combustion. And this is, what if AIDS caused spontaneous human combustion but made you irresistibly sexy for 2.5 years first?
Sign me up.
Sign me up.
That takes care of 2 of my problems, Michael, which is trying to motivate myself to exercise and my existential dread of getting older. Just
Sign
2
me up
birds,
for 2.5
one stone.
good years, and then I'll just burn out. Benjamin, be quiet though for a second, because
okay.
it's a little bit more complicated in terms of who's got it and who doesn't, because there's the batch of people who get it accidentally, and they carry
Yes.
it as almost a social stigma. Then there's the people who
Yes.
get it on purpose, the people who want to have the beauty, and they love it. They have nearly a cordoned off society of only beautiful people.
Yes.
And then there's the people who don't have it. And then there's a very small number of people who don't have it and are still beautiful anyway, kind of classically. And they're the real dangerous ones, because you don't know if you're going to get it off them.
Well, that's one of the most interesting things about this, Michael, is the invisibility aspect of the STD, but also it's the, if you are naturally beautiful, you will be accused of having it, which is so, it's such an interesting stigma that you will be branded with, regardless of whether or not you have it, just based on how much of a ride you are.
Yeah, exactly. Benjamin, I actually have it, and this is what I ended up looking like. So imagine what I looked like before. Holy shit. I was reading it thinking, how bad would it have to be to come out?
Oh.
You come out mostly all right looking, and then you're like, oh no, he must have been pretty bad.
Just
before.
passable.
Yeah.
Just passable.
Just passable. Bag
just
over the
passable.
head, grand.
Because boy, it was rough at the beginning.
It was.
So-
Benjamin, hold on though, because
Yeah.
tell me about these gentlemen. I think this is the first time we've done a comic in months where I don't know who these people are. Why do I not know them?
Jeremy Haun is a writer and an artist, Michael. He's been working in comic books for a long time.
Yes.
He's kind of done the indie circuits quite a bit, right? So he's worked for Top Cow. That's how this comic got started. Top Cow ran a competition in 2011. They used to run, I guess you'd call it like a pilot season for comics. if you
I
want to
think
look
it
at
was
that way.
called Pilot Season, Ben. That's actually
Oh,
what it
okay.
was
Well,
called.
there you go. I
You've been
was referring to it
subconsciously
as
influenced there.
possibly. But they would publish an issue 1 or a teaser issue, and they would let readers decide on what it was. And the Beauty swept it, Michael. It did really well. It was a fun premise for people to work with. But then they took 4 years to really iron it out, Michael, and build up their back issues. So I suppose, based on that alone, he's a real industry professional. He understands publishing, and he understands that you have to have a log of back issues to kind of publish a consistent comic. But he did a lot of work with a lot of the indie publishers: Top Cow, IDW, Image, Oni Press. He's been on that circuit for a while. He did Berserker. I don't know if you remember Berserker.
Oh, we did read that.
I don't think we read it for the podcast, but we did read it for fun, maybe.
Weird.
He's only done a little bit of work with the big two, mostly as a jobbing artist, Michael.
Is it right?
Yeah. So, yeah, as I said, he's been around a long time, but where he really shines, I suppose, is the creator-owned work, and the Beauty is his baby. It's kind of been his magnum opus.
John, shut up again for a second, because you said that it was with Image and now it's with Ignite, and did it go away and come back? What's going on? This is complicated.
So this
Summarize
is
it, though.
complicated.
I want to talk about the comic, not the publishing industry.
So the Ignition Press, Michael, are the current holders of the comic title. And that means that they are publishing the new releases, for example, this one, that coincide with the FX TV series. So this was published in 2026. It has directly been brought out to be available to people who want to understand the source material for FX.
You very cannily avoided saying the word capitalized there.
Yeah, I did. And then you dragged me right back into it. But anyway, come here to me. I don't blame them at all. Why wouldn't you? Lash out. If we had some kind of adaptation, Michael, I'd be lashing out.
Lash it out.
My
Lash
side
it out
comics.
there.
Get them out there. So,
yes.
Ignition Press belongs to Jeremy Haun.
Oh,
it is
does it?
his publishing house. Right?
Oh, good.
Ignition Press is... he does a few different things. He has two other major creator-owned titles. One of them is called Murder Podcast, and one of them is called Curious Haunts. So a lot of his work is always horror adjacent. And in this particular case, Michael, Image Comics allows creators to hold on to their rights quite often. And I think that's what's happened here. I think basically Jeremy Haun has struck out and said, well, it's my title, and I'm an executive producer on the FX show, and there's no reason why I shouldn't fire this out and try and make the maximum amount of cash on.
Good for him.
And who could blame him at all, Michael?
Yeah.
And then the second part to that duo, and probably just as important, is Jason Hurley, Michael. And Jason Hurley is a long-time collaborator of Jeremy Haun.
He has the head on
He's
like a
the
big
primary artist. Yeah, well, ironically enough, Hurley being a big old shtick that you swing at people. He's much less visible as a part of the duo. He's not
kind of
interested
invisible.
in the limelight.
No.
Yeah, he's not
Have you tracked him
interested in the
down?
limelight too much. I've tracked bits of him down, Michael. He's been working in comics for about 20 years. The Beauty was his first kind of push into making his own comics. He'd done jobbing work as well. And yeah, he's a co-writer and co-artist on that. And that's kind of what he does. So you can see between the two of them that they've kind of come up with this. They worked together over and over. And this was quite a successful comic. It ran for 10 years, nearly.
Like 100 Bullets, your favourite comic of the last couple of months.
Like 100 Bullets. Well, less than 10 years. But still, it ran for quite a long time for an indie comic run. So it did quite well for a while. And people liked it. Interestingly enough, Michael, the first 6 issues that we're looking at here are a single story set on a particular set of characters. From there, it jumps into kind of an anthology series set in the world.
Because that was what I'm going to ask you, Benjamin. Because these first 6 issues that we read, The Beauty Volume 1, it's a movie. And I recognize that it has been adapted into not a movie. But this first 6 issues it's like a movie. It's a very... movie. Yes, it is. It's a very self-contained story with a first act, a second act, and a final act. And 2 or 3 action scenes, 3 or 4 character twists. And everything you've said there makes complete sense for something that was first published in 2011 and then refined and planned until 2016. That
Yeah.
it's not a rambling, incoherent, where are we going to go with this? It is one of the most coherent 6-issue graphic novels that we've read on this that wasn't written as a 6-issue graphic novel. Do you see what I'm saying? It feels like a one and done. You could read 1 to 6 of this and go, well, I've enjoyed that story about that world. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. But in comic book form, which I've read.
Exactly. So it's not self-contained, essentially. It is supposed to be an ongoing series, but it certainly has the structure and weight of a self-contained thing in the first 6 issues. I would say, Michael, that is probably a side effect of working with the likes of IDW. IDW get their hands on a lot of... This is pure speculation, by the way, folks.
Very good. That's why we're here.
But IDW gets a lot of rights to movies. So they end up publishing the 28 Days Later graphic novel adaptation, or Tales from 28 Days Later. Do you know what I mean? And so that kind of anthology... No, because the way you get your anthology series set very often...
I had a hope, Benjamin, for your intellect that you'd have another example rather than 28 Days Later again.
No. I don't know, Tales from Borderlands or something like that.
All right.
Rick and Morty does Dungeons and Dragons. There you go.
Yeah, very good.
And that kind of writing, I guess, lends itself to it. You need your tight, self-contained adaptation of the movie, and then you need to have your anthology series to keep selling that comic if it does well.
I get what you're saying, but I'm not really saying this as a criticism. I hope it's not coming off as a criticism, because it is... It's so... Not cinematic. I'm not saying it's cinematic. It's the most breezy buddy cop sci-fi mystery. Like, I'm a little bit surprised that this has been adapted into a miniseries, because it's not really a miniseries. This is a Netflix original film, basically.
Yes.
Just make a Netflix... It's a 90-minute Netflix original film. There's 3 or 4 big shocking scenes, just the right number of character twists and turns, and then at the end you go, we could do a sequel to that set in the same world, but we don't have to. It's absolutely not necessary, because, as you say, Benjamin, something that really struck me out of this, we're on the right part here. Narrative, tropes, and themes. I think we're on the right part. Something that really struck me about this, and it really tells from what you've said there, is they came up with the concept in 2011 and published it in 2016. And notably about both of those dates, they are pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And, right? Do you see what I'm saying? So this isn't about the pandemic, because it's pre-COVID. This couldn't be written today. And the TV series, which we'll talk about later, really proves that. Because in this, there is no one in hazmat suits. There's no great mystery about who's patient 0, who's patient X. There's no great investigation into what causes the virus. There's not even a terrible concern when people get it. When people get the virus, people just like, oh, you got it, did you?
It's a social stigma over a full-blown panic. Do you know what I mean? Because people just brand you as, I don't know, lazy or conceited or
or
I suppose dirty to some degree. Like, there's such an interesting, and I don't think it was intended as this, but it certainly does explore the social stigma around STDs to some degree, as in...
I think that was completely intended, Ben. That's the whole point, isn't it?
I think maybe it was completely intended, Michael. Thank you for correcting.
I think that's the whole point of the comic.
I'm covering my bases too much there, folks. Sometimes I use words like I would imagine or allegedly, because I don't want to put words in a creator's mouth, but I think it's probably unavoidable in this case.
Yeah.
I would say that this explores the stigma around an STD far more than... Nobody wants an STD, Michael. Nobody wants an STD, unless you're a bug chaser. But that's a whole other subculture.
Does it make you sexy, Ben?
No, most of them don't.
That's probably the only reason why, Ben.
Yeah. So this is the interesting part, right? It examines... Because most people, there are no side effects to this other than being ridiculously beautiful and a mild fever, right? Now, some of the characters learn very quickly that it actually sets you up as a human time bomb.
Yeah.
And you've got about 800 days.
Space. Yeah.
You've got about 800 days, right? And that's fine. But most people
That'll
don't
do for me.
know that, Michael.
That's fine. That'll do for
Don't
me.
know. And it still causes that level of division. Do you know what I mean? People, we get little vignettes at the start of every issue, Michael, of a random person who's contracted the beauty and the effect it has on them. One of my favorites being, I guess he's some kind of Christian televangelist, and he has signs in his room and it says God hates the beauty and stuff like that. And spoilers for this particular comic, but it turns out he's been sleeping with men and has contracted the virus overnight, and he blows his own brains out in the morning when he finds out. He goes into the bathroom. He's just gotten a call to get down to whatever hate fest he's talking at that particular day, and he goes into the bathroom and he goes, "Oh God, no!" And he's contracted it from whoever's in the lab with him. But
Benjamin, I don't want to put words in the creator's mouth, but I think that might have been a commentary on the hypocrisy of preachers, the hypocrisy of hate mongers.
I think it might have.
I don't want to put any words in anyone's mouth, but I think that might have been what they're getting at. But Ben,
yeah,
yes, like there's less stigma involved in having the beauty than there is in going to work with COVID.
Yes.
Like, just as an example, like this is so pre-COVID, it's incredible. It's hugely. It's not AIDS, although obviously a lot of the kind of the mechanism of it is more AIDS than not. I mean, there have been STDs as long as there have been humans, but AIDS is the STD.
Yeah, the big one.
It's the zeitgeist STD. But one thing you said that, interestingly, I think you said that they're like a ticking time bomb. I think it's very interesting that they're no harm to anyone. You just burn
just themselves.
Out. Yeah, you just burn out quietly. You don't spread it when it's happening. It's low drama in that sense.
Yes.
It's a ticking, quiet, insidious time bomb, not a "we got to stop this before the president explodes" time bomb.
Yeah, absolutely. The implication is that it will have a devastating effect on the population over time.
Yes.
And for some people, that doesn't matter in the slightest. They look at it the same as a drug epidemic, as drug addicts killing themselves over the course of 2 years. But it's most importantly is it's your choice to have the beauty. Not in every case, but some people go after it. Some people want the beauty. They want to be this beautiful thing.
A huge number
and I
of
think,
people.
Yeah.
I think it's implied that like half the population of the world has contracted it themselves on purpose.
Yeah. And what I find... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, you go on.
No, you go on.
No, something that I thought didn't make a huge amount of logical sense was that there were still kind of ugly rich people. Like we see ugly rich people contracting it. And it's like, it's kind of a little late in the story for... Now, I suppose they might be more conservative and they wait 3 or 4 years before and then they go, "Oh, I'll get it now," I suppose. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it creates this weird black market then of people who provide it, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes a sought-after product, I suppose.
In a way.
It gets commodified in a strange way. And what I find most interesting about that, Michael, is, and you hit upon it at the beginning of the episode, is because everybody is getting branded the same way. If you're beautiful, right? If you're pretty, people assume you have the beauty.
Yes.
And I find it most interesting that it doesn't devalue the currency of beauty to some degree.
Right?
Because if everyone's a ride, what's the point?
The whole time I was reading this, the beautiful South were in my mind going, "When everyone is blonde and beautiful, it becomes, oh, dude." I don't actually know how that song goes. But you know the song I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
What about Rotterdam?
Exactly.
Wouldn't being beautiful be devalued if more
100%.
than half the world's population was beautiful?
100%.
So what becomes the new beauty then? Being an uggo, I guess, because you're not infected.
Or having a different kind of face from the standard. Because it is, and this is where, Michael, this comic becomes the most prescient thing on the planet for me. This is so interesting. No,
No, I get it. I get where you're going. That's so funny.
There's a reason that this comic has been adapted to FX in 2026.
Go on.
There's a reason that this comic has hit television screens now. This comic
Yes.
creates the conditions for... If I had read this comic in 2016, Michael, and I
Yes.
saw a society divided and screaming at each other over who's beautiful and who's not, I would have gone, what a load of fucking tosh. No one
Yeah.
will ever care that much.
Yeah.
But now I live in 2026, Michael.
Yeah.
Post-COVID, which I think
Yes.
is crucial. Post-COVID.
Yes.
And I do live in a world where we have things like Ozempic or GLP-1s. And I do see comment sections now, Michael.
Looks maxing.
I now see comment sections where someone loses weight naturally. And in the comments, there'll be phrases like Ozempic face, or she's just on Ozempic, or he's just on the Ozempic. And it's so interesting because it has devalued that concept of beauty. Now it's very accessible if you want to lose weight. And more power to people. If they can get their GLP-1s and they want to lose a bit of weight, that's fine. But now it has become witch hunt quite often for people to be like, Ozempic! Ozempic!
Buccal fat removal.
Exactly. And you have the conversation of, oh, well, you didn't earn it. And that's very interesting because there's a morality element then slipping into losing weight or slipping into beauty. And there's always been an unspoken morality, I suppose, around beautiful and ugly, and it's played with narratively all the time. You can have demons that are very beautiful or ugly angels or all these kinds of concepts of, oh, I never saw that coming because he's so handsome, but actually he's a prick. And that's been, that kind of morality and beauty has been there all the time, but it's reached a new level in real life in terms of weight loss and getting fit and optimizing. Looks maxing is a fascinating thing to be, Michael.
Yeah, spend an hour a day putting your tongue up to your palate for some reason. Someone told you to change the shape of your
like
face.
Nobody's
That's
business.
what the word is. Yeah.
When people say hello to me, all I can do is wave and go,
I'm slipping on that.
Ben's looking very well today.
He's looking
Shame
very
he's such
well,
an
isn't he?
antisocial prick.
Fucking miserable as well. Probably going to be dead in 3 years. Ben.
Anyway, this comic is so prescient for the culture that we find ourselves in now, Michael. I would say that the 2026 climate of beauty and aesthetics, where celebrities are losing weight thanks to GLP-1s and various drugs that are doing things, sometimes to the point of emaciation. We saw the entire conversation around Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande during the Wicked 2 premiere. And that was insane. But we also see it with other celebrities who are losing weight at a rapid rate. There was some discussion around Nancy from Stranger Things at her premiere for the last season that just came out.
Erin, what's her face from The Boys absolutely got hammered out of it a couple of years ago.
From The Boys. But it turns out she was ill because she has since returned to, I guess, an earlier season of Starlight. I don't know how to explain it, but she has since come out and felt very vindicated to say, I told you I was sick. I had a severe illness that was emaciating me. And it does seem like that was the case because she has essentially put all the weight back on that she
All right, let's stop talking about real life people. Ben.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it. You're doing the thing you were talking about. Ben.
I'm doing the thing I'm talking about.
There are characters in this, would you believe?
Yeah, there are. They're knocking about. They're knocking about in there. So it's a procedural, Michael. It is a procedural. It ripped straight from the pages of CSI Miami or whatever you like. There's two cops and they're buddies and they're at the heart of a corrupt system and they're gonna tear it all down. And that's so those are kind of our focus characters for the first 6 issues, Michael. It's Vaughn and I'm gonna forget now. Detectives Vaughn and Foster. Vaughn and Foster, and we see them we see versions of them, I suppose, Michael, in the TV series, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, another case of ginger erasure.
And Vaughn and Foster, Michael, are a part of the city's beauty division, is what it's called.
Beauty Task Force.
Beauty Task Force, and that's interesting because it has become a black market item. There's a need for police to get involved.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what's interesting is
Beauty-related
that,
crimes.
yeah, beauty-related crimes. And I suppose that's the deviation from a standard STD because it's been commodified and turned into a black market item. Because you couldn't get away with that, Michael. You couldn't have police be going, do you have an STD? Ah,
I think they do
do
that.
they?
Yeah, if you're
Okay,
bleeding and
right,
stuff,
well,
they do ask you that.
okay. But they can't police it in the same way, really,
No.
Michael. But here they have to do that, and they find themselves at the dawn of the
Coming of the age of Aquarius.
self-combustion.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Of the coming of the age of Aquarius, at the dawn of the self-combustion phase of the beauty, and they know that it is dangerous, but the government swoops in, the CDC in the form of Agent Brandon, and they tell them to bury it.
Zip
Do
it.
you know
They
what I
say,
mean?
fucking zip it.
It all. And then there's an element of politics to it from that point on, Michael, where Foster and
there's-
Vaughn are expected to get in line.
And there's a stock evil senator.
Yeah, and there's a stock evil senator,
Yeah.
classic evil senator.
There's
if you
a
will.
stock psychopathic hitman.
There's a stock
Yeah.
psychopathic hitman.
There's a stock conflicted chief of police.
Head of the CDC,
Yeah.
who may or may not care about
Yeah.
the lives of other human beings.
Yeah.
There's a stock resistance leader. There's a
Yeah.
stock resistance scientist.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stock characters here, but I don't want to demean it too much because I think Haun and Hurley do a good job of dialogue between characters, and I think they do a good job of relationship building. I like Vaughn and Foster. I think they're a good combo together.
Yeah, I like them
And-
too. I like that they're a man and a woman, and she's very attractive, but there's no tension between them, and he's
None.
happily married to his wife, who to
Very much
him
so.
is already beautiful, which is a great little twist. I assume she cheats on him.
I assume so, or she took it. I'm not sure which one it is. They have a
Yeah.
conversation towards the end of the run, but it's I assumed it was cheating. But
So did I.
I don't
Maybe
know
that
whether she
says
went
more
and
about
sought
us
it
then.
out. Yeah, maybe. God, we're learning so much about ourselves in this comic, Michael. But Haun and Hurley do a good job of building up those relationships. And yes, they are stock characters to some degree, but they're still good. They feel like real people occasionally when you're reading them. It's very enjoyable.
I didn't think they felt like real people. I think they feel like movie characters. And again, I'm not saying this in a derisive way. I enjoyed it. But in the sense of it's a 90-minute movie. The characters have jobs to do. So like writing them offhand calling them stock characters is us attempting to be funny. Stock characters exist for a reason. And this is telling a action movie story with a fascinating premise. It's not an intense character driven. Not that the characters don't. I think there's not a character in this that doesn't make a logical decision. Like the inevitable coming around to the side of good by DCD Brandon, and saying goodbye to her wife and kids, and going and knowing she's making the sacrifice to kill the senator. Like there's nothing revelatory in that. It's the kind of thing that character does all the time.
Yeah.
But at least everything is clear, everything's explained, and no point do you go, why did that person do that? Or like, it's a very, very simple story with a fascinating premise that's well told. That's my interpretation of it. So like, they're not deep characters. Especially, I especially found the assassin, the psychopathic
Caravellis.
Yeah, like he was straight out of something Neil Gaiman wrote 20 years ago.
My least favorite character in the entire comic is Caravellis.
Go on.
And this is interesting. We're going to get into this when we go into the comparison to the FX show, and I'll speak about it. But I just feel that he is the most absurd insertion to the entire thing.
He's easily the most comic book thing about it, which is probably what I
Yeah.
meant by he's like something Neil Gaiman wrote 20 years ago.
I think you're 100% on the money. He is straight out of, this is my madcap serial killer character who's been given a license to do what he does because he's very effective.
Yeah.
And it's like a character that Wolverine would face from the old Weapon X program. It's like a character. Do you know what I mean? But he doesn't necessarily fit in so grounded a world. And even his little predilection for touching people who have the beauty without, and then murdering them horrifically. It's a step too far for me in a very grounded world. As in, he just gets away with it. He's just given full carte blanche to go about, and he finds everybody, and he can get in anywhere. And I just remember going,
Yeah, I get it. He's a bit one note of a villain. He's not really the villain. He's the secondary villain. He's the chief. Again, to go to It's a Simple Movie Well Told, he's the henchman. He's the psycho henchman. He's Xenia Onatopp. He's Sabretooth. Like, we could spend the rest of our lives going through films where you have the villain, then you have the villain's physical threat. And he's that.
Yeah.
He even wears the Mexican Day of the Dead mask, which, Benjamin, you'll remember we played a TTRPG game where one of the characters was a psycho killer with a... So if I came up with it, then, it's not that original.
Yeah. But, he's there, and it's interesting. He's an important mechanism of the machine. He's there to up stakes quite often, I find.
Yes.
And add a ticking time bomb. And again, speaking cinematically, Michael, there are some great scenes. There's the scene where Foster and Vaughn first approach the celebrity beauty carrier.
Yes.
And they want her to be the spokesperson for the cure.
Yes.
And she is assassinated almost immediately. And I was like, that is straight out of cinema. But I think you're right. I was wrong to say that they feel like real people. They don't. They feel like well fleshed out pawns on a chessboard that Haun and Hurley can move around for particular story outcomes. But what I did like is the world feels particularly lived in occasionally. One of the things I really enjoyed was, Foster and Vaughn are having a conversation, something like, and I think, is Foster the man? I can't remember. I think he is.
Yes.
And Vaughn is the woman.
Yes.
If I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen,
hit us up in the
apologies. But Foster says, do you think she'll go for it? And Vaughn says, if you ask her to do it, she will. Do you remember what she was like when we interviewed her the first time? And it's that sense of fantastic, like, they have a history with different characters. They've done this before. They are good cops doing their job. They are part of the beauty and have been from the start. And I quite like those little touches here and there. I think they do great narrative twists with the stock characters that they've provided. I think the twist at the end of the Beauty issue 1 is a great way to show the unexpected consequences of the beauty. And that is the scene where Foster goes to the mirror and he's suddenly very, very beautiful. And all he says is, fuck.
Very good.
Because his wife is a carrier. They had sex. And now he's beautiful. And it's such an interesting way to reveal infidelity.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Not that it wouldn't happen with other STDs, but people would scramble to hide other STDs. And you might get away with hiding it. But not in this case, because he never expected it. And he just thought, as you said, he just thought his wife was beautiful.
Yeah, because he always
just thinks his wife's a big ride, who has a little glow about her lately and is doing really well. And they do that very well a few different times for compounding the consequences of the beauty and what it means. Because you said earlier, it doesn't harm anyone except for the beauty carrier. But there's that one scene where an air traffic controller is talking to a pilot and guiding them in, and the pilot combusts.
Yeah.
And then the plane goes down.
Yeah, I don't think that would happen in real life because there'd be an autopilot and a
you'd be grand.
co-pilot and a navigator. But yeah, a bit of drama there. Bit of drama there. But they're nice ways to ramp it up, if that makes sense, or to give it a bit of weight. Benjamin, this is one of the best ever deployments of using an artist whose everyone's beautiful face is the same. It's like, this is the complaint you had about 100 Bullets a few weeks ago, is that when someone is good looking, everyone looks the same. And that is spot on here. It's so good. It's so good how you can instantly tell if in this comic if someone has the beauty or not. It is incredible.
Because they become a stock.
They look like Greg Land did them.
Yeah, just exactly. They look like Greg Land did a trace job on a
Right.
celebrity.
It's funny. It's a bit of comic meta commentary, perhaps.
Yeah, because I don't think Jason Hurley and Jeremy Haun, they're very good artists. This is very legible, very good fundamentals of comic books. There's nothing too exciting here, Michael, in terms of artistic experimentation or anything like that. We're not looking at wild color palettes or elongated anatomy. We are looking at people that want to draw functional, solid comic book work.
Feels like a
They can draw Uggos. They can
Yeah.
draw big rides.
Yeah.
And as you said, same face syndrome actually has a narrative mechanic here.
Fits
Yeah.
into the story. It's so clever. It's so good. It's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, all my sexy people look the same. Make a comic about it.
Yeah. One of the things I really enjoy about this, Michael, is the covers of the beauty. We don't often talk about covers on collecting issues, but we should probably. But the covers are fantastic. Jeremy Haun is the artist on the covers himself, so he's the man who does the covers, and I think Hurley does the interior art. But Haun is creating the covers himself, and he creates these kind of vacant, empty, post self-combustion mannequins almost. And I think they do evoke that kind of haunted look of a department store mannequin who has abs you could never have and is weird and pale and cracked porcelain. I think they're a fantastic horror element to the comic. And I think they're I think they really grab your attention. Like, and he does different styles of beauty. Like, there's the 2011 Instagram influencer, the boho chic influencer.
Yeah.
There's the day stock trader, the big businessman. And then he has a few of those. There's the countess or the aristocrat in their kind of punished form. And I really enjoy those covers. The covers are really fascinating bits of horror. And there are some good horror elements here. Poor old, towards the end of the comic, poor old Vaughn gets turned inside out.
Yeah. Ben, sorry, before you go on to horror, can we talk about the Uggos for a second? Because something that I was doing when I was reading it was cataloging what methods were used to make it clear that people didn't have the beauty but weren't hideous. So for example, Detective Man, which is what I was calling when reading this, he's got thinning hair and he's grey at the temples. And then that all gets fixed when he gets the beauty. DCD Brandon never gets the beauty, but she has a very distinctive big nose and thin face and long neck. And it's really like, here's a quick side profile so you can see her big nose. So it's so fun cataloging what has been chosen to make it obvious that these people don't have the beauty.
Weight is a big one as well.
Yeah. They might be a bit chunky.
DCD Brandon's wife is a heavier set woman.
Yeah, and a few of the resistance are on the heavier side as well.
On the heavier side, yeah, exactly. Hairlines are played with a lot. So this is the wee fella, but he has a big receding hairline. He has long, lanky, greasy hair.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff like that.
Sharp little noses.
Yeah, or big long noses. They don't make anyone grotesque. That's the kind of fun of
people.
It. They're still normal people, but they do have to kind of highlight. It's like, give each of them two things that makes it clear they don't have the beauty.
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting effort in character design, I thought.
The police chief is bald and overweight.
Yeah, easy.
Easy peasy. But yeah, different types of age and stuff are interesting as you go. But coming back to the horror element, only briefly, Michael, Vaughn does get a cure, but the cure turns her, I guess it exposes her musculature, or it removes her skin.
I have to say, I was a little disappointed. I was kind of hoping, because we're with her as a beauty for the whole comic. I was kind of hoping she would just turn into her pre-beauty self and they'd have to deal with that. But no, it turns them into weird skeletal mannequin monster creatures.
Which is a tough sell for a cure.
It is. I mean, I think there's more drama in that. There's less melancholy, but there's more drama. Like, going back to The Way You Were gives me a vibe of, like, The Leftovers, where it would be, like, sad and people would be like, oh, I was so beautiful and now I've got a pimple or whatever.
You would have that. You would have, like, you would get used to having to make, wow.
Didn't mean to take a shot at you there. Sorry.
Wow.
I
If you're watching
genuinely
on YouTube,
apologize.
folks, I've got a pimple here on the side of my temple.
I genuinely didn't mean to make that personal.
Don't think I
Sorry.
didn't notice the big nose comment either, by the way. Mick Leonard's idea of a non-beauty individual is Ben.
So yeah, there'd be a certain melancholy to them going back to their pre-beauty form, losing it all, and that
Yeah, absolutely.
melancholy is lost with half the world is now going to be, whether they want to or not, by the way it ends, they're going to be monsters.
And they'll still be branded because they will have had the beauty, because they'd only look like that if they had the beauty.
But they're not going to explode. But also, it's not fair to think of them as monsters because they're just people. They're people who have had a condition. Like, you can't call them monsters, or else you're calling someone who has a skin condition a monster, or someone who's been in a fire. So
Exactly. And you can't do that. That's not okay.
Yeah. It's
from a societal perspective.
Yeah, but half the world is going to, whether they want to or not now, be afflicted with the cure.
Yeah. And one of the things I found so interesting is they have to, I think this is probably a very selfish decision on the part of the anti-beauty crew. But, you know, Vaughn is very candid. Everything hurts. Her skin hurts. The air hurts her skin. She's in a lot of pain. And because Caravellis turns up and begins to turn the CDC unit upside down, the guys disperse and flee and go out into it. And the final panel we see in the comic, Michael, is Foster injecting himself with the cure, and he's going to spread it as a super virus.
He does a big colossus.
But he's actually doing more harm than good. Like,
is
people
he?
are going to be in pain. People are going to be...
But they're not going to explode.
Yeah, but I don't... It's such a non-consensual choice.
Yes, exactly. That's it, isn't it? It's like...
Yeah, it's tricky.
They've taken a moral position, and their moral position is it's better for all of these people to live in pain and misery than to die, burn out quickly and die.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a very interesting moral and philosophical position. I don't know if it's more or less interesting than going back to the way they were. I think going back to the way they were might be more clean cut, and might be why it doesn't work so much as the drama, because it's just like, well, you're back the way you were. What are you whinging about? It was like, go back to the way you were or die. But not going back to the way they were and being hideous. I'm really uncomfortable with calling the result of it hideous.
Being normal, disfigured.
Being disfigured, but half the world is going to be disfigured.
Yeah,
minimum.
And that's it. And again, it boils down to this thing of, just because some people chase the beauty and want to contract it, it doesn't mean everybody does. Like, it is an STD. It is spread unknowingly. Like, if you go home with someone you think is very attractive from a nightclub and you wake up in the morning with an STD, it's not like you made the choice, and now you're going to be...
I thought you were going to say serves you right. I thought your moral crusader was going to come out.
Cross. Dirty pleasure seekers.
Serves you right, you filthy sinners. Isn't it great though when she kicks the shit out of the serial killer man?
Oh, I hated that guy. Good for her.
Fabulous. He just wallops him.
And it makes a lot of sense. Like, she just gives him a whack with the back. What I liked was that gave her the definitive upper hand. I suppose what I liked most about Caravellis was he's... By the way, if anyone's listening from a Spanish-speaking country, I'd imagine it's Caravella, but I can't say that correctly with the right amount of flair. So I'm saying it phonetically as Caravellis, how I read it, but I'd say it's Caravella or something similar.
Is it Latin, though? I got the impression it was Latin rather than Spanish. Oh, he does wear the Mexican mask.
Yeah. He wears the Mexican mask. Unless he's a big old cultural appropriator, which he might
Maybe.
be.
Even worse, Benjamin.
Because he's a dick. Oh, serial killer, fine. Bloody cultural appropriator.
Cultural appropriator. How dare he?
How very dare he. But a lot of it is... Yeah, what I really enjoyed about that, Michael, was she gets the upper hand quite quickly by smashing him over the head with a fire extinguisher. And that's it. It's a very realistic infliction of blunt force trauma to the back of the head.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's just like... As you said, no character makes an illogical choice. What she does, Michael, is capitalizes on that first advantage. And she smashes him up. And I was just saying, good. Very good.
Ben. as someone, Benjamin, who's been in a fight or two, I hate in fiction when someone starts getting the upper hand and then runs away and lets the person regain their faculties and reset back
Yeah.
to their advantage. Like, if you knock the scream killer down, kick the fucking ever-living shit out of him.
Cave his skull in. Get a heavy object.
Don't let him
to
get
work.
back up and chase you.
Get to work, lads.
Get to work.
Take the knife that he has undoubtedly dropped.
Absolutely
work.
cut off his legs. Anyway,
One or two decent stabs, lads, to the scream killer when he's on the floor. Job
just a
fucking done.
normal incel.
Anyway,
Yeah.
speaking of the philosophical position, we've hinted a few times, Michael, at how apt it is this has been adapted for 2026. Ryan Murphy got his mitts on this, Michael.
Oh, good
old horror boy Ryan Murphy.
Mm.
And I think the series is currently airing on Netflix. It has an all-star cast. It's on the FX on
Yeah, it's
Disney
on Disney,
because they
yeah.
own FX. So you can go see it there. But it has a big old cast, Michael. It
Big old famous
has
cast. Quicksilver.
big old famous cast. Quicksilver's in there. He's a standard in the old Ryan Murphy gigs.
Yeah.
But what I like about this is, Michael, Ryan Murphy is remarkably popular. If anyone doesn't know who he is, he's the guy who ran American Horror Story for years and years and years and years, and now gets any television gig he wants. He currently has 2 top billed series running at the same time. He has The Beauty, and he has a strange examination of JFK and one of his lovers as another series running simultaneously with this. He's a man who pops up all over the place, and he's made a name for himself with these kind of horror cultural commentary series, and I feel like The Beauty was made for him. He just one of the interesting things, I suppose, Michael, first of all, in the promo, very little mention of this having been a comic beforehand.
Almost none that I could see.
Jeremy Haun is very much present on social media. He's promoting it himself. He's an executive producer on the series, but a lot of people are claiming that this is, what a genius idea from Ryan Murphy. It's not Ryan Murphy's idea.
Ben.
Put it
Give him
well.
a big nuggie.
Yeah. But what I will say, Michael, is this is a fascinating look at a story getting to develop over 10 years.
Oh, go on.
And I think one of my criticisms of the comic would be that it's occasionally too constrained or too realistic for its own good.
It's a 90-minute movie. It's not
It's a
a
90-minute
mini-series. And this is a mini-series.
Yeah. The miniseries does some excellent things with this. It does some gratuitous things that I think probably take away from it, but it is Ryan Murphy, so I don't know if we're not going to get sexy hot people doing sexy hot people things, because that's kind of Ryan Murphy's calling card. Ryan Murphy has tapped into his own fashion connections around the world. Bella Hadid is in the first episode of this, Michael. She is our first glimpse at the Balenciaga show, exactly. And there's a few things done very, very differently here, Michael. Some of them I like, and some of them I think are from a completely different genre. One of the things that I think is done very well is the transformation of the beauty. The initial cost of the beauty from a horror perspective. But it takes away the subtlety, I think.
You see, I don't...
in a different way.
I don't think... This is not the same story. It's barely an adaptation, in my opinion. Yeah. It's the same premise.
Yes.
But it's not the same story. Because one of the things about the comic is the transformation is very subtle. And it happens almost instantly, kind of overnight, basically. And it is that kind of wish fulfillment of what if you could go to bed yourself and wake up beautiful.
Yeah.
But there's no body horror. And the body horror in the show is extreme.
Extreme.
To the point that people who undergo the beauty in the show are recast.
Yes, which is really interesting.
Really fucking interesting.
Really interesting.
Because really interesting. Imagine being hired to be the beauty. You'd be like, oh, I'm a character actor.
One of the most interesting instances of that, Michael, is Rebecca Hall. So Rebecca Hall plays the female FBI agent, right?
Not exactly the characters from the comic. Not
No,
even
not
remotely.
exactly.
But
It's just the
regardless,
concept of two agents. Yeah,
another
two
case
law
of ginger
enforcement.
erasure.
Another case of ginger erasure, Michael, which you can't stand.
I can't abide it. Why can't we have sexy gingers on television anymore? Why do they keep getting erased?
The closest we've ever gotten is Adam Eve and Jean Grey, and those are cartoon characters of the
They're
best. of
cartoon
times.
characters, man.
But I can do this as a case by case study, right?
Okay.
One of them is Jeremy Pope. Jeremy Pope plays the incel character. Who
That's a
contracts
huge
the
difference.
beauty.
Sorry, before you go on, that's a huge difference because the comic is pre-incel culture. The comic has nothing about.
When I said it was prescient that this comic existed in 2016, it kind of foretold of this culture of body shaming and all this kind of stuff that's really exploded onto the scene in 2026 or has been building since COVID at the very least. There's so many new cultural things that you can bring into that because Jeremy Pope's character plays an incel who contains the beauty, and one of my favorite things about him is he's still a fucking incel.
Oh,
he's still a fucking incel. He's awful once he's beautiful. He's no better. And he speaks. It's so funny because he has no experience of sex. He begins to have sex a lot when he sheds his former physical appearance. But he talks as though he's only ever watched porn when he's having sex. And it's the most interesting thing in the world. But what I found interesting about this is Jeremy Pope is given a giant fat suit and a ton of prosthetics to make him an ugly version of himself. Rebecca Hall is just recast.
No, they're different actors.
No, they're the same. Jeremy Pope is in a giant fat suit. Yes. He's in a ton of prosthetics. Yes. So this is really interesting. Rebecca Hall is just recast.
And
Rebecca
recast.
Hall is not an ugly woman.
No, she's not. And I'm not convinced
Rebecca
the woman
Hall.
who's recast is more beautiful. It's it's a very interesting problem. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a really interesting
my exact
problem.
reaction. And I was sitting with my good lady friend, Michael, and I said, and we both looked at each other and went, that's interesting. I don't know if that is a better version of Rebecca Hall.
Yeah, it's very, very,
Very
interesting.
interesting.
Now, they play around with it because my wife and I were discussing this.
Yes.
The woman who Rebecca Hall becomes is, among other things, heavier.
Yes.
Which is definitely not in the spirit of the comic. But Rebecca Hall's character also gets breast implants. And when she kind of wakes up as the new person, she seems quite pleased that she's more voluptuous. So is it that you become the perfect version of yourself, which actually doesn't make sense because what is the perfect version of yourself? Because
Makes no
beauty
sense.
standards change. Or do you become what you think? Do you become your ideal version of yourself?
So this is, I think this is the most fascinating distinction, Michael. And I think it's something that is probably lost between comic and TV. Because in order to bring this to TV, you have to cast real people. And beauty is, regardless of how you feel about it, subjective.
Yep.
It is to some degree subjective. What is attractive to you or I may not be attractive to an American audience and vice versa. And what I find interesting, Michael, is it's so complicated to cast the right people. And I think even more so when it comes to men and women as a distinction, when you put a man on a big regimen of workouts. Jeremy Pope is a very beautiful man. Like there's no two ways about it, right? He's a very beautiful man. But he's also, how they highlight the beauty is they're ripped. They're really jacked. They're very strong people. They've
He's
got
not
good
that
musculature. Okay, but he's in great shape. No?
No, he's in good shape.
Okay, well.
Evan Peters is in
regardless.
great shape. Evan Peters is in better shape.
Evan Peters is... we'll get to that in a second, but...
Suspiciously...
the other interesting thing is, Michael, if it's an STD, right?
Yes.
And it has a biological imperative. And I think one of the interesting things that happens with these characters is they go psychotic towards the end, they seek a water source, and then they explode. Right? Mm-hmm. But the explosion in the TV series is a fleshy, awful spreading of a virus.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the difference. The virus hits an end stage where it wants to spread. And the virus explodes, sending out blood, viscera, and fluids into other people, right? And we
Benjamin,
see that at the Condé Nast Cafe.
the IMDb says Jaquel Spivey played Jeremy pre-Beauty.
Damn it. Never mind.
I think they trick you a little bit by
Yes.
possibly it's Jaquel Spivey at the beginning, and then
Yes.
it's the main actor after the plastic surgery, and then
That's what they did to me. That's
maybe I'm not sure.
That's annoying. Well, I apologize to everybody involved in that particular comparison then. I was not on the money there. But it does... What I find interesting is the virus acts far more as a biological agent in the TV series than it does in the thing. But then it doesn't. Because as you said, what is beauty? Do they make you a more desirable, breedable person? As in, if you go back to caveman, kind of like childbearing hips kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But how do we know? And then the other thing I found fascinating, Michael, is Ashton Kutcher is not in the peak of his life.
No.
Ashton Kutcher is in this show.
Yes.
And he's not in his prime, but it is his prime in his head.
Is that what it is? Because I thought the idea with that was that he took the beauty much older. And so that's like as far
possibly
back as he was able to go as a man in his late 40s. I love the stunt casting of his wife, by the way. Have you got that far?
But I don't know what the stunt casting is. Go on.
Absolutely fucking fabulous casting of Isabella Rossellini as his wife. And Isabella Rossellini's probably most famous role was as the woman who gave out the magic eternal youth potion in Death Becomes Her.
Oh!
Isn't that great?
That's so good!
And in this, she's against it. And she's Isabella Rossellini looking like Isabella Rossellini in her 70s. It's great.
Michael, that's amazing. Well, thank you for bringing that to my attention. That's so good. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a fabulous bit of stunt casting. You're absolutely right. One of my... Yeah, that's great. There are a lot of celebrities in this, Michael. Meghan Trainor pops up.
Meghan Trainor?
Yeah.
Not as herself. And as someone...
No, as a Condé Nast publisher.
And someone pre-beauty.
Yeah.
And having gone through what Meghan Trainor has gone through, like on the nose casting for...
Yeah.
Like someone's trying to tell her to take it. It's crazy.
As you said, a tough pitch for how it works. But what I also found interesting, Michael, is Rebecca Hall's character, she's still doing the voice of her post-beauty self. They've dubbed the actress.
Have they?
They've dubbed the actress.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
It's very strange. But one of the best revisions in this for me is Caravellis. Caravellis has the loosest thread to Anthony Ramos in this. Caravellis in the comic is a silly, over-the-top serial killer thing. He is Anthony Ramos in the thing. And one of my favorite things about this, Michael, is the chemistry between Anthony Ramos and Jeremy Pope as they become the sinister duo that cleans up the elite's messes when it comes to the beauty. Anthony Ramos is having the time of his life with this character. And his whole persona is of a man who enjoys being a psychopath, who is very effective.
Yeah.
It's very, I really enjoy his personification.
I think he's great. I think he's doing a wonderful job with essentially playing Patrick Bateman. With the classic music, the going off on tangents about musicians, playing songs in a clean room while calmly talking about how he's going to murder people. He's very Patrick Bateman.
But I'm not sure that's entirely unintentional either.
It has to be intentional, Ben. You couldn't miss that.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan Murphy is, and with that little tidbit that you gave us about Isabella Rossellini, it's funny. Ryan Murphy's peak decadence or height of beauty culture seems to be the 80s. Probably because he's a man who was young in the 80s.
Right.
But all of his... They still hold the 80s up as their standard era of decadence and beauty and power. It's very interesting. I think it's a very interesting adaptation. As you said, calling it an adaptation is very loose. It's taking the premise.
It's a very loose adaptation. Benjamin!
Yes.
Are we going to read more of this, or is it done?
Oh, I'm going to keep reading it. I think I'll probably pick up a few more. I think it's an enjoyable comic. I think it's worth a read. I think it's very prescient. I think it's a bit of a slow burn because it's meant to be a 90-minute movie, I guess, as you said. I liked it. I think it's a very enjoyable comic. I think it's comic fundamentals done very well. And I think it avoids the problem of turning into a pulp novel or something like that. I think it stays grounded quite a bit. One or two sugar skull mask wearing deviants aside, I think it's quite a good look at something. It's enjoyable. If you're into strange supernatural or sci-fi premises and stuff like that, it's a good old comic to read. The series is just great fun. Just watch the series for a bit of crack.
I prefer the comic. Can I say that? Am I all right to say that?
Of course you can.
I prefer the comic. I actually prefer the comic. I thought the comic was not that it's a crime to be influenced by pop culture. That's all entertainment is, and all entertainment is a reflection of society. But I thought that having read the comic so recently and then reading the show, I couldn't help but be thinking, and maybe this reflects on me poorly rather than the show, but I couldn't help but think, 2024 called wants its talking points back. Anyway, look, Ben, we better wrap it up.
Go on. That's the end of it from us, folks. What did you think of the beauty? We want to hear from you. There's loads of different ways that you can get in touch with us. We are Collecting Issues, the monthly comic book club, and we love to read a comic and have people chime in and give us their opinions, and we publish a podcast episode at the end of that reading period. Sometimes we throw out little gems like this one. Little gems like this. We just toss the beauty in there. We didn't announce this. We just decided to have a little read of a comic and toss it in there. But you can give us your thoughts on this, folks, in a few different places. If you look down below in the description, you will find a link to our TikTok, to our Instagram, to our Discord, where you can hop up and talk with us directly. Imagine that. We don't even charge any money for that, folks. We don't even charge any money for that.
Not yet.
We're great. Not yet. One day, maybe. Jesus, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Jesus, chance would be a fine thing, Michael. But what did you think of the comic? What did you think of the TV series? Why not let us know on both counts? Tell us what you think. Is it a good comic book adaptation? Is it a completely insane twisting of what the original intent was of the comic? Let us know down below. You can follow along with us. You can give us a review on the podcast. You can find our Substack where we have a few different essays up there on different comic books. But most importantly, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Send it to friends. Like, share, subscribe. Do all of that jazz and let us know. If you want more comic book club goodness in your life, we are doing Absolute Martian Manhunter Volume 1. Did I get that wrong?
Yeah. No, yeah, you can't say it, but you can read it.
Absolute Martian Manhunter Volume 1 from Denise Camp and Javier Rodriguez, part of DC's new All-In initiative where the world has been made by Darkseid, and it's all a little bit darker for a fascinating look at a retelling of John Johns as the Martian Manhunter, where he's two separate entities that have been thrust together in a world oozing conspiracy. It's great stuff. Go check it out and read it with us for the end of the month. That's it from us. Bye-bye.
See you next week. Or not next week, 2 weeks. Ish.